Hey, FlimsyLunchTray here, and welcome to World of Warships in a new temporary battle type, battle mode called Unbreakable Line. So we're going to talk about that in today's video, as this is, it's my first impressions. This was the first game I've had in the line. I'll tell you after I kind of explain this battle type if I think it's any good, if it's worth playing, or in my just personal take on it. So basically this is around for a month. It'll go till the 14th of May, where you play tier 8 to tier 9 battleships, cruisers or destroyers, and it's in a 7v7 format. So it's kind of like ranked almost, if you will, but I mean it's not. But the battles are a lot shorter, so you can see like up on the top right, it's only 12 minutes you have. So you end up playing. You can actually play up to a division of up to 4 players. And basically what it comes down to is that if you die, you respawn in. So basically you could call it like, they call it Unbreakable Line, but to me that's just, I don't know, it's kind of a dumb name. Maybe they could have come up with something that kind of gave away more of what the battle type actually is, as I'm waiting for this buffalo to go broadside. But it's just a respawn event. So basically, if you die, you're going to respawn back in and come in off, we'll be back on the, I think the 1 line. As in, you can see like here, it's, when you look at the mini map, it's a shortened version of the map. Everything's condensed, so you're not playing the entire map. So it's still, basically what happens is you have 2 caps, and the first team to reach 1,000 points is they score the instant victory or have more points than the opposing team when the 12-minute battle timer runs out. So that's essentially the rules in a nutshell. In terms of the modifiers and economy, which this is also pulling from a World of Warships article. If you sink an enemy ship, your team gets rewarded with 35 points. If you lose a ship on your team, it doesn't cost any points. Holding a key area, whether it's Alpha Cap or Bravo Cap, it'll give you 5 points every 4 seconds. At the start of each battle, you'll see, you probably saw at the start of this battle, but also when I die and respawn back in, which we only die once, you get a 30-second buff to your speed, acceleration, maneuverability, and concealment, which is actually pulled back to make it easier to reach your desired positions on the map before the fighting starts. If you do have any unique commander talents, or take a ship with a unique commander on it, those talents don't get activated. When it comes to the terms of the rules of respawning, upon destruction, your ship, you respawn after 15 seconds. There's no limit on the number of times you can respawn, so like you can suicide and throw in, but the negative of doing that is you don't get any of your consumables back. So whatever consumables you spend in that first iteration of your life or your second life, you don't get those back at all. So as in the article, upon respawning, all elements are instantly reloaded except for your torpedoes, which only reload if all torpedo tubes were reloaded before being sunk. So here's an example of that. When I do die, I've had fired some torpedoes beforehand. So combat instructions, progress is retained, but consumable charges aren't refreshed, so you don't use them all too early, unless you kind of feel confident about your positioning. The temporary buffs to your speed, acceleration, maneuverability, concealment will help you get back into action as you respawn outside of the map. So it's kind of similar to if you've seen, like you've played Operations and you see a ship coming from outside the map in, it's actually quite similar to that. So that's about the Unbreakable Line, the respawn event that's going to be in the game for a month. In terms of what I say, do I like it? Do I not like it? I mean, honestly, I don't really care if I'm being fully disclosed. Like Doom was talking with me before, like this is him and both of our first time trying it out, and we basically kind of like, this basically works out in favor in terms of the dockyard. When like you had to get ribbons and then you had to get main battery or secondary battery ribbons, and that's the main reason why I took Prince Ruprecht in. Then there's like base XP for the current iteration of the dockyard for battleships, cruisers, and destroyers. And that the payout is you don't get any of your progress halved and working towards the dockyard combat missions like you do in operations or operations with flagships, right? So there's an incentive here that the battles are going to, of course, last longer than randoms, or sorry, longer than co-op, but not as long as randoms. So if you just want to kind of have this short, intense action. And honestly, like, this game mode feels more like Brawl to me. Like, I see players actually playing this as a Brawl game mode, where when you actually play the battle type that comes back every once in a while, Brawls, like, people aren't really always brawling in Brawls, but in Breakable Line, they are brawling. So that means for me, it's been very rewarding as a brawling battleship to come in and brawl. As I'm just basically, we have our cap ticking for points, and I'm here in the cap at A with Bravo, or Alpha, excuse me, and we're basically preventing the enemy team from ticking up any points, because you see up on the top, we're actually behind in points on our team, so we need to get some more kills on them, but then also just we need to delay their points so we can come back up. So my expectations basically were going into this was basically seeing just, I shouldn't have used a DCP there, by the way, either. Basically, it was to see, how do I phrase this kindly? Like, my expectations were like, I'm going to see dumber stuff than I do see in randoms. Basically, that was my thought process. That was my approach. In what I saw, and honestly, it did live up to those expectations. Whether it's in Illinois on the J line shooting into the caps at enemy ships while being severely behind on points, it's seeing cruiser players ram into islands, broadside to you, and just get to absolutely murder them. It's seeing people eat torpedoes who have just respawned, and knowing that their hydroacoustic search is ready. They didn't use it. So basically kind of a heightened version of randoms in terms, I would say, of the mini games I've played now. Last night here in Unbreakable Line, was on a pretty good win streak for a while, then I decided to take Mets for combat missions for Mets. So then I wasn't as great as an asset for my team in the Mets with kind of the matchmaking, and you kind of need more boats with a pretty hard hitting or like a stronger DPM, if you will. The one thing I was a little surprised though when they've introduced this battle type, typically in order to get you to play other battle types in the game, Wargaming has always had this like combat missions tied to this specific temporary battle type. And they don't this time, which ironically is rather interesting, because I would have thought different, if I'm being fully honest. But that's what it is, and I think they're probably just thinking people will play this more anyhow because of the dockyard combat missions, because your progress isn't halved in working on those said combat missions. So that is what it is. The one thing I think I don't like in general about this game mode is it doesn't, it's I'm more of a fan of, like, if you make bad decisions as a player, you should take some time to reflect and kind of think through why did you make the mistakes that you made in the game. It's like you don't just get to respawn back in. Because like what I see in this game mode, like I think it's the Buffalo this game, like he YOLO'd in like multiple times, bow on, and just like dies early. And there's nothing really, in terms of getting the win for the team, there's nothing really rewarding about having that type of play style, in my opinion. Like you'll see the Buffalo come back in here to Bravo Cap here momentarily. So I just see a lot of like dumb plays in this battle type, but it depends on how your perspective and how you approach this game mode. If you just want something like, I mean, I know there's many different types of players in World Warships. In the one sense, like if you're just working on dockyard combat missions, then it's like Unbreakable Line's like probably pretty decent. Like I don't even take the full spectrum of combat signals. Like I only take like 3 or 4 just because I don't want to waste credits on having to buy lots and lots of combat signals. So there's that perspective. If you just want to like W in and just have a good time, have some beers, really not think much about it. Like, this battle type also works out pretty well for you in that sense, and I'm not saying that's bad. I'm just saying, hey, it is what it is. I get those players who just, you work a lot on the week and you just want to like chill out and do whatever you want to do on the weekend, and it's just a game at the end of the day, right? There's nothing wrong with that. But like for me, more as I'm a bit more of a competitive person in general, and this is why like we actually end up having a really good result when this game ends. And so I'll talk about the economy of this battle type too. So here you can actually see we fired torps to Buffalo Rams Island. Each torps dies, and when we respawn back in before this game ends, we're about to hit 1,000 points. Those torpedoes won't have been reloaded yet, and I knew I was about to die, so I wasn't going to use my like damage control party or repair party either. I think they were both close to coming off cooldown. So you can see now the torpedoes are still reloading, even though on my other side, port, starboard, whatever, they're still reloaded. So they carry into the game still being reloaded, as it were. But in terms of just for myself being a bit more competitive oriented, I think for me in general, I just prefer playing more like ranked or randoms battles. For me personally, if I'm being perfectly honest, it's weird to me to still see like, you know, like I referenced the example, I don't remember the name of the map. It's one of the newer maps in the game where like we had this Illinois down on the J line. Like, what are you doing on a J line like with your 12 203s? Like, we need your 203s like up in the action, right? So basically the way you lose this game mode is like whoever gets the 1,000 points first. I never had any of the battles I played so far. In my first day of playing mini battles, that, you know, we ran out of time. It's just one of the teams reaches 12 minutes or reaches the 1,000 points first. So basically focus on the objective, which is the cap. So here you can see the economy. We got a 438,000 credits for 305,000 damage. And we actually have a permanent economic package on Prince Ruprecht, and I was running green boosters. So I'm a little surprised that with 2,800 base XP and, you know, 300,000 damage, a permanent economic package on Prince Ruprecht and all green boosters, that we only managed 400,000 credits. I would have thought it would have been higher. Now the article references, how did it say? It says, we've adjusted the economy for Unbreakable Line to, quote, be in line with earnings for random battle. It doesn't say the exact same. It says be in line with. So I think it's probably a little less. If I'm wrong on that hypothesis, feel free to correct me in the comments below. You certainly can. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying in my opinion, my perspective, my hypothesis is you're paid out a little less than randoms. At least in terms of the credits. I mean, we got 21,000 XP just with the green booster on and the permanent economic package on Prince Ruprecht. So it's like, yeah, that's a pretty good amount of XP to get all said and done. But really good all when we have, you know, 305,000 damage with some of the definitive ribbons and things of that nature with the 4 destroyed. So for me, I'll probably play it a little bit more. I don't know how much I'll play it overall. I think one of the things, I do care about the game, and there's a part of me that wonders, will people who play Unbreakable Line, because you know you can be respawn in, like will they then after they play this go back into randoms and kind of have a similar mentality? I don't know. I mean, otherwise, if you're a player who struggles in the PvP meta of like randoms and ranked, and maybe you're more conscious of your stats, I would say Unbreakable Line is a good place to kind of get your feet wet in terms of just getting back into stepping into more the PvP environment and just see kind of what it's like. Ironically, I haven't seen any trash talk yet in Unbreakable Line, and a few reasons why I think that is no carriers, no submarines. Okay, that at the surface, right? That's one of the things that makes the game mode quite enjoyable. You can get away from submarines and aircraft carriers, so I'm glad I remembered to say that and not forget. So that's one of the things I've enjoyed about this battle type overall. It's like classic randoms or classic WoWs almost, if you will, to an extent. So that's nice if you're tired of subs and CVs, or maybe you've just stopped playing randoms because of subs and CVs. Then it's like, hey, play Unbreakable Line, get away from submarines and CVs. So then it'll be a harsh reality if you kind of put the expectations of randoms on your same experience that you have in Unbreakable Line on randoms, and it won't be. I mean, you'll come back into the game and you'll have CVs, submarines. I haven't seen too many people play the Dutch airstrike ships in this game. It happened once or twice. I had on enemy team, but not very much. That airstrikes also bother you. So regardless, all said and done, it's worth checking out and seeing how you like it. I mean, to be clear, like, I'm not overall speaking negatively of this game type. I do like it. It's different, but the competitiveness in me wants a little bit more in terms of the action, and I think, like, I feel more rewarded from playing a randoms battle than I do Unbreakable Line. Like, that's just me personally. So, but if you liked today's video, give a thumbs up. If you didn't, give a thumbs down. Subscribe if you want to see more. If you subscribe, thanks so much. I appreciate it. Thank you to my Patreon supporters. Until next time, take care.